Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. Track 3, Children's Story, produced by Slick Rick. Flat 9.
Moulz and Mel connect. Flat 9.
Yes! Yeah! I realized this is the week that I realized that I love this record. I love it. Hence the 9. Okay, I love this record.
I mean, okay. But here's the thing: the Tempo Man is checking in.
Oh,
the Story Man is checking in.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Story Man is here. Tempo Man is here. The Dancing Man is here.
Yes. 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 I told y'all, them shuffles in the beat, when you hear them shaker shuffles, the shuffles, they come in and you can't stop dancing, okay?
Oh.
Shout out to my people that suffer from that restless leg syndrome, okay? I have that from time to time. All right, that's how I feel when this song comes on. From the very first time I ever heard this, when my dad played it for me, I always liked it. It was this week I realized I loved it.
It's to me, maybe 1A, 1B in terms of Nautilus samples, like this and Daytona 500.
Oh, this is a Nautilus sample?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, right. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, right. Okay.
Like, it's used like it's used so sparingly, but to such great effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This is one of my favorite hip-hop beats of all time, for the record.
Oh, me too. Me too.
It just...
One of my favorite hip-hop songs.
Oh, come on. This... You know, I'm glad... It's great that we're doing this, like, coming, like, the week off of doing, like, the Marshall Mathers LP, namely Stan. Because, like, I think about Stan. I think we just did her, the HER. You know, I used to love her. This season in the Resurrection.
I thought you meant the girl that's always up for Grammys, and I'm like, wait, people listen to this artist?
Shout out to her, I guess. She seems okay. Never really sat down to take time with her, but no, I'm talking about the Common record. You know, I said in that review that was like maybe the premier example of personification. Like Stan, you could say, is one of the premier examples of storytelling, but Stan doesn't exist without songs like Children's Story. Okay. Storytelling excellence was found in Stan. It was also found here.
I'm thinking about like Impossible, back to the Wu-Tang season again, from Wu-Tang Forever. Ghostface, like incredible storytelling verse on there, or some of his storytelling records in his own career. Like trace all this shit back to Slick Rick.
This guy, you hear an album like this, and everything you heard about him being the storyteller, it's like, oh no, duh. Like this guy is just. It's like it's effortless.
I mean,
for him.
I hold him in the regard of the highest level of storytelling in rap. I hold him in the same regard as I hold guys like Ghostface. And, you know, I think of, I mean, honestly, dude, like Ghostface and Scarface are like two names that come into mind. But Slick Rick is like within the first 3 names that'll come to mind for me every time when it comes to storytelling. And
why y'all think Outkast put him on the art of storytelling?
Yeah, to make a career out of it. He is, like, I feel like the OG rap storyteller. And, listen, I mentioned in part 1, I got my vinyl single of this record signed, and it's a big, what do you call it to me? Prized possession of mine. That has no bearing on my rating. In fact, my rating has bearing on the fact that I bought the vinyl single in 2005 or 2006 of a record that came out in 1988.
There you go. All right.
But that was still when you can go to Rock and Soul and get vinyl from that era, from the late 80s and early 90s at regular prices.
Yeah, now they charge them premiums and you got them.
I'm out the game.
eBay
big
culture
time.
And
But, those years when I was DJing, this shit would go off, dude. Like, I cleared dance floors sometimes with modern music, but this would always do the trick.
Because it's a mover. Tempo Man, the dancing man, like you said.
Yes. Especially if you mix it in to This Is How We Do It, which is our first piece of archival audio. You know the man. You hear him at the top of the show now. It's Moulz and me, Mr. Montel Jordan. This is how we do it.
Look, I don't think I've ever rated this song. I know it's at least a flat 9, could be a 10, but look, from greatness to greatness. Here we go. My God.
She got much flavor.
Look, I mean, I know we said Big Willie style might have been the greatest slate of archival audio, but given how much stuff has come from this album, I don't know. This could give it a run for its money.
I'm telling you, dude, I didn't really think about it until it was time to do it today and get everything together. And I was just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that much because of how influential this is. But just the sheer amount of shit I was digging up and shit was popping in my head left and right. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to end up being one of those episodes. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's more. There's a lot more. You're gonna keep going through history. I try to present these chronologically when I go through the audio. This is from Stakes is High by De La Soul, 1996. This is Breaks, and Children's Story is one of the samples you'll hear, like, almost immediately.
All right.
That knock him out the box.
Knock him out the knock him out the box.
You know, that's classic, and it's a classic album with a classic sample from a classic album.
I always say this: you got to appreciate when a great sample is flipped to make a great song. It always hurts. When
I also like how they left the percussion in there, so you get a little bit of the vinyl, the windbreaker rubbing against itself.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
So I would say 10 years later on Black Star, Mos Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star, which we will be doing later this month on Patreon as our bonus review. They did like a remake of this song.
Wow.
And it was kind of getting at Puff Daddy in the shiny suit era because, you know, they were positioning themselves in opposition to that. And I think later Mos was like, I kind of regret doing this record, but let's hear it. Let's hear Children's Story from Black Star.
And then Jack and Chingy started kicking. I'm like, pow, pow, pow.
All right, y'all. Enough of that. It's time to go to bed, y'all. It's time to go to bed. I don't want to hear that. You know what time it is. Yes. Okay. Y'all tucked in?
Yes.
Here we go. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore Adidas and lived life slow, when laws were stern and justice stood, and people was behaving like hip-hop was by a little shade thought, and this is what he said. Me and you, kid, we gonna make some cash. Jacking old beats and making the dash. The jack the beats, money came with ease. But Sonny couldn't stop us like he had a disease. He jacked another and another. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. Sex some R&B over the track for deep cover. The kid got wild, started acting erratic. He said, yo, that presidential, I got to have it. With liquor in his belly, Sonny made up the track. But little did he know that his joints was whack.
I can't wait to hear this album. Okay, I see how they coming. I see what type of time they on. All right.
Now, I don't know, how personally Diddy took it, but personal enough to...
That should have... However, he should have took it personally.
Personally enough for him to do this on his Forever album. This is Pain featuring G-Dep.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see the response record here.
It's not really the response, but...
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
It's
right.
It's just...
So it's not like Ice Cube got back at Common.
Not quite, no.
Okay.
But it's curious, that's all I'll say.
Okay, here we go.
Uncle Puffy, can you read us a bedtime story, please? Please? Alright, check this out right here. Woke up, smoked up, broke up what I had left and rolled up. Lit it, had a shorty that I brought home. Hit it, sent her on her way, I got no time today. With all this work, I got no time to play. Cash come and go and I want mine to stay. A lot of these fake cats won't mind the day. I get an unfair play, then the stairway. That's why I'm like TWA in the airway. Niggas wanting to believe what they heard through hearsay. Hoping, but forget it. Check the mail, it's a letter from jail from Hoboken. I opened and I read it, it said,
with the deal, son, shit nigga tails in the field, in this real, son. I'ma have to fail one, caught up on the bun with the gun. You can't walk with it out, then you can't conceal one. Now what to do? I don't know if you knew that kid true. Up on 122, we plotting to get you. Now he's due. You just
So,
do it, need do.
I think there's some plausible deniability in the fact that this is one of the most influential rap records of all time. That
Right.
it was just a coincidence, but you could also, if you really want to read into it, there may be some subs in there.
Okay.
Just some loose subs. Didn't escalate from there. It was just, something I thought was curious is all.
I like the sound of that beat from things. That was an emo Mel beat. I like that.
Oh, That Pain is a good song.
Yeah.
And then, once again, this record got sampled pretty directly on the 7-track album by Nas from those Kanye West.
I'm a fan of this one.
Those Kanye Wyoming sessions. This is Cop Shot the Kid featuring Kanye West, but I have to say, I think it sounded better in the video that they put out before the album dropped. There was like a video of them at the listening party hearing this song. And I don't know if it was just like the energy of the listening party or Kanye with his last minute mixes. There's something about this that doesn't sound as good as it could have based on the video, but I still like this record. It's only one of 2 songs on Nasir I actually enjoyed. Wasn't a fan of that album at all.
I've always liked this song. I think Moulz and I have historically disagreed about this record. It's my favorite record on that album. That was 2018, right? That was
Wait, we've historically disagreed about it?
About this song.
Cop Shot the Kid? No, we both marked out for it. I just don't like the studio version as much.
So you do like the song? Just you prefer the okay, that's fine.
I like this and one other song on Nasir, and this is definitely my favorite one. And I knew it would be based on the video, but there's something that's different about it based on the video, like the mix, perhaps.
Okay.
Or maybe just coming through the speaker, being recorded on a cell phone. It sounded like everything sounded more level.
Okay.
But I like the song, yeah. We haven't historically disagreed about this.
Oh, okay.
That's fucking bullshit.
My bad. Yeah, well, you said you like 2 songs on Nasir?
Yeah, I won't say what the other one is because we're probably going to review that album one day.
Yeah, we will review it one day. Well, this is the only song on there I liked. So you got that, folks. And I'm not going to tell you what the rating is. But yeah, here's Cop Shot the Kid featuring Kanye West. So we're probably not going to get that deep into it. But here we go.
Cops used to come around, in my neighborhood. All right, you kids, stop having so much fun. Move along. Oh, they'd arrest me, especially at night. They have a curfew, right? Niggas have to be home by 11, Negroes 12. when you be trying to get home, you know, knowing your crew runs it, and they always catch you out in front of a store or something. Because you be taking shortcuts, right? Cops. Put your hands up, black boy.
Cop shot the kid, the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the kid, the cop shot the cop shot the kid.
I don't wanna hurt nobody. We just came here to party, see a few dames, exchange some names. I'm a top shot the kid, stay in your lane. The cop shot the kid, same old same. Pour out a little liquor, champagne for pain. Slap boxing in the street, crack the hydrant in the heat. Cop cars on the creek, doing they roundups, we just watch for the sweet. Yeah, it's hotter than July. It's the summer when niggas die. It's the summer when niggas ride. Together we'll be strong, but forever we divide. So y'all are blowing my high. Type of shit that's killing my vibe. White kids are brought it alive. Black kids get hit with like 5. Get scared, you panic, you going down. The disadvantages of the brown. How in the hell the parents gonna bury their own kids, not the other way around? Reminds me of Emmett Till. Let's remind them why Cap kneels.
I figured out what I don't like about the studio version. I still like the record. It's a 7-, maybe a flat 7 for me.
Was it the vocal mix?
No, it's the 808.
Oh, that's what it was.
I feel like you already got the percussion on the Slick Rick sample. That's enough.
Okay.
Like, it's too busy sounding for me now in a bad way. Like, it was too busy in a good way in the video because I couldn't hear the low end. I thought he was literally just rapping over that loop. Like, raw mixtape shit almost.
Yeah, that's how it would sound through a camera or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But once I heard the boom, I'm like, oh, Kanye, you fucking asshole. Always has to add something. Beef it up. Maximalize it. You get Mike Dean in there, and it's just, you know, oh, fucking zombie man.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of the moment in One Mic, that noise. The oh, yeah, but yeah, you heard the 808s and said,
"Oh fuck this motherfucker." Like, that's Kanye West.
That's Kanye
get
West.
The fuck out of here.
Like, I just wish I had the stems so I could take out one element and give the song an 8.
Wow. Well, I don't mind it. I think the busyness of that song.
It's not the busyness. It's the 808. It's just it's a new sound on top of an old sound. I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that lone 808 on fucking Otis either. That's stupid ass.
There's a drop I really wish I could play, but I'm not because I don't want to be offensive to a group of people. You know. There was something that another rapper said at the end of a very obscure record about Kanye's 808 specifically. But anyway.
So yeah, let's get into the meat of this song. I mean, there's a lot of storytelling on this album, but this is most of the time for people, I'd assume this is the first story they've ever heard, the children's story. And what a story it is. We get some stories that are almost children's story adjacent on this album as well, but this is the genuine article, Matt.
This is a story you should have told the kids, though, because it's a cautionary tale. It's not a nasty. You couldn't tell them no R-rated, X-rated tale. You know. He maybe could have told them the kid story, but no. This is what you tell the kids, so they stay on the straight and narrow. You know.
Right. So we do have this book here from Brian.
Oh, you
Coleman.
got the story, the literal children's story.
Well, this is not a children's story unless you want to start your kids off early, learning about rap, which is always good. You know, you might want to get them this book maybe when they turn 13, 14. They have enough
you mean check the technique?
Yeah, it's Check the Technique. You know this book. We bring it out all the time.
Okay.
It's the most cited book on this show so far.
Right. Well, I'm actually glad you brought that up because, I mean, we actually talked about this in part 1, but, you know, with storytelling and everything, you know, I want to remind people, Rick said he was never the type to say freestyle raps. He usually tells the story, and to do that well, he had to work things out beforehand. And I just want to say, like, as someone who's tried to write storytelling raps, storytelling songs, for me at least, it's not easy. I think it's really a skill, you know, to build a story. I mean, you almost become a screenwriter in that sense. You got to have a.
We were talking about it earlier, weren't we? With this erotic barber film,
Moulz is working on one right now.
And I said I need to build the framework first, and then insert the weird shit.
Right. So this is the first story song we get on here.
He's writing out, like, let's say, outlines of a beginning, middle, and end, how the story is going to go, and then he puts it into rhyme.
Yep. And boy, does he put it into rhyme. I mean, it's so fluid. Like, a lot of times you hear a story and it's before. Like...
I'm sorry, Mel?
No, go ahead.
We've touched on it before, but, like, the level of voice acting going on this album, it's incredible. He plays the kids. He plays all the women throughout this album. He plays different men other than himself.
Yeah, on here he's the cop. He's the accomplice dude. He's the bum on the roof. Like, he's everybody. And it's those punch-ins we were talking about. Utilizing that to craft a world and play other characters. He gives
every character their own unique voice.
Like, at the very top of the story, I mean, it starts once upon a time not long ago. I love this. When people wore pajamas and live life slow, I love that. But he basically, the main character links up with this other little boy who's a bad influence. He was misled. And the other little boy was like, me and you tonight, we're going to make some cash. Robbing old folks and making the dash. And that voice is very funny. Kind of reminded me of E40 a little bit, slightly. But, he gets and I love the flow moment. They get in the robbing. He robbed another and a sister and a brother. Like, flow, okay? And he ends up trying to rob the wrong man, undercover cop, basically. And they get into a little tussle, and the story it's what I was going to say is, like, a lot of times with stories, you might hit like a little snag, or it's like, you can, like, audibly tell maybe they didn't know what to say here, or like, all right, this is the low in the story. No, I'm on the edge of my seat the whole time, from beat to beat, from location to location, until the end of the story. He gets in a tussle with the cop. He even brings us into the thought of the character.
Yep, cop got scared. The kid starts to figure, I'll do years if I pull this trigger.
So he ran away. The cop calls the lady cop. I love the part where he's running top speed, goes to the abandoned building, runs up the stairs, and it's like, open up the door there. Guess who we saw? Dave the dope fiend shooting dope, who don't know the meaning of water nor soap. He said, I need bullets. Hurry up, run. The dope fiend brought back a spanking shotgun. When he said the hurry up, run, I know you don't like this guy as a rapper, but his tone and cadence right there kind of reminded me of Father. Now, I'm not saying in storytelling prowess, I don't think Father's ever really told any stories in his raps, but like the looseness and like breeziness of it, like, I think Father might be listening to some Slick Rick, because he's a raunchy rapper himself, and I feel like I could totally hear him listening to this album and picking that up.
There's a parallel that you can draw for sure.
I'm
definitely not a fan of Father.
I'm a Father fan, but it's like just the voices and the way that you use your voice to play other characters and accentuate and emphasize certain lines and like dialogue over the course of the verse. So he's racing down the block in a stolen car. He crashes the car. He hops out and he's shooting back and he runs out of bullets, grabs a pregnant lady and like tries to use her as a hostage. Back off, or honey here is dead. But deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong. So he let the lady go and he starts to run on. I mean, come on, like,
perfect verse alert through the whole song.
Perfect song alert.
And, the classic. I mean, this is another line that gets interpolated a lot. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh.
Yep. Yeah. It's a morality tale, When we get to that ending, siren sounded, he seemed astounded. Before long, the little boy got surrounded. He dropped his gun, and so went the glory. And this is the way I have to end this story. I love that line. He was only 17 in a madman's dream, and we heard the sample in the Nas song. The cop shot the kid. I still hear him scream. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow, or your soul gets cast. And I love the good night.
Oh, dude, I love that there's like that sitar sound at the end too, which reminds me of Why You Bullshittin'.
Noise. Yeah,
it's that Why You Bullshittin' sound from the Sugar Free album.
It is. That is what it sounds like.
It's like the same instrument. I don't know if it's like a sitar or something, but it sounds good. And, you know, he says it's been another Rick the Ruler presentation. Crumbs. Calls us crumbs. I popped huge.
That's a great diss.
Me? Crumb? Me? You know? I love it.
You just did. Reminds me of the kid. Oh, the kids' banter at the end is hilarious. Oh boy, that Uncle Ricky is really weird. I know. What does he mean? Straight and narrow, your soul gets cast. I had to go to Genius to read because I couldn't. It was kind of quiet. It trailed off, but apparently, like the kid was like, I don't know. I think he'd be cracking it up or something.
Oh shit.
Where's old boy?
I never caught that, dude. That's funny.
Yeah, they think he's on he's on that note. But it's time for this drop. Is this the one?
Well, I think I'm looking forward to cracking up. I hope I can totally crack up. So I haven't totally cracked up in a long time.
Well, go see Uncle Ricky.
Go see Uncle Ricky if you want to crack up. Okay, but no, this ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Okay. All right, so it's like that. What were the Alamo freaking draft house handing out them cards?
Oh man,
the inappropriate laughter card. That is the worst. Moulz told me about. Man, that's not a real thing.
I don't have the emotional constitution right now
to get into that right now.
Properly get into that. But all I'll say is I don't remember the Alamo because I've never been and I will never go.
That is a terrible theater. It's not a real theater, okay? Anyway, no one should go there. But oh god, do I love the knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out the box, Rick.
What?
Bro,
dude, there's so many things to pop over. How could it not be a 9?
How could it not be? I love this record. It's like I said, I realized this week, I'm like, because I gave it an 8+, and then the more I played it, I'm like, no, I love this thing. You know you love it when listen after listen, you pop. You just keep popping. You keep popping for it. You're like, no, I clearly love this thing.
It's one of the classic hip-hop songs that I've heard a million times at this point, and that DJs would always put in their sets before a hip-hop show would start, and I'm never tired of it. Ever.
It's timeless, okay?
Yeah.
You know?
The only reason it's not a 10 is because I'm just so picky with my 10s. I'm just...
You know,
I only give out but so many of those.
I mean, for instance, like you could ask me, Mel, you give this a 9, you gave Stan a 10. Why? Well, here's the thing with Stan. I have a personal connect. I feel like it keeps me in check. I have like some utility. The story he tells these kids here, I'm already on the straight and narrow.
I know what I gave Stan, a 9-. I like this more than Stan.
You know,
I like
Stan more than this, but I feel
more. I feel more solid in my enjoyment of this than I do in my enjoyment of Stan. Both 9s.
It comes down to like I'm already on the straight and narrow. I would never hold a pregnant lady hostage and rob some old people and knock old people down and all that. You know, I'm purely in love with the record and the way it's executed.
When I was a kid, this was a 10.
Okay,
but I'm not a kid anymore.
Right.
So
yeah. I mean, look, it's also a thing too. You have to factor in. I've heard Stan many more times. And I am emo Mel, probably more than I'm goofy Mel, sadly. Yeah. Could this go up to a 10 one day? You never know. It could.
I wouldn't rule it out. All I'll say is I wouldn't rule it out for any of my 9s.
There you go. I mean, if you love something, there's a chance it could one day be perfect to you. It only makes sense, you know?
Yeah. I'm not opposed to any of my 9s becoming 10s. An 8 becoming a 10, something is fishy. Something is not right. There's collusion abound.
Right. You know, and I'll say this. I think this song really, you know, Dart was telling us like these reviewers thought it was like scattered and all over the place, this album. I never got that. I got a guy who was versatile. Like, you could get the raunchiness and the lewdness, but here's a song that's like about basically not falling victim to street
we just
life.
Heard we're 3 tracks in. None of these beats sound the same from these first 3 beats. You could call that, as they chose to, schizophrenic. Yeah, but to me, I'm thinking, okay, I enjoy the fact that this album, for the most part, has songs I'm able to differentiate through elements within them, whether it's the tempo, whether it's a odd sample or element in the beat that isn't in any of the other beats. You know, it's something that I'm able to differentiate the records with. I like that. The through line is that we're on a great adventure with Slick Rick.
Right.
And he remains consistent throughout the album for me.
Yeah. You know, exactly. So they was listening wrong, you know, but look, the true greats are sometimes not understood when they first come out.
Yeah,
you know?
It's hard to know what's going to capture the
imaginations of a...
Yeah, like the public's imaginations and attention, especially after the fact, what's going to linger on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about Rock Marciano with Dart. I feel like Pray for Haiti by Makami is another album that, like, it came out, people were going crazy about it for like a week or two, and then I continued to see people throughout the year repost the album and random songs and just continue to rave about it. And that was another one where I'm like, okay, out of all of his projects so far, I feel like this is going to be the Makami project as of now that 10 years from now people are still going to be talking about.
That word of mouth, that organic growth.
Yeah, I witnessed almost like a word of mouth campaign and just an organic spreading of the music for like 6 to 8 months that I haven't seen with a lot of his other projects. Maybe due to availability, but I think that still gets factored in. Like, if this was the most available project and this was potentially the peak of, you know, his critical acclaim or fan interest or something, people will definitely look back on that album as the one.
Well, and you know, I would say there would be less Mac Homies and Griseldas and things like that if not for albums like Marsburg. And it's like, you think about influence and it's like these critics didn't get it, but clearly people like Jay-Z did, Snoop Dogg did, you know? It's like, and you see what they would go on to do. So you never know who you're going to reach by being the first out the gate or like one of the most different people and what that will turn into one day. You know, I mean, Eminem, who we just did, there's a little bit of him in Tyler, the Creator.
Definitely.
You know, like you never know.
As much as there's Pharrell, at least in the early material.
Right. So you got to be, even us, you know, like when it comes to people who analyze this stuff, you got to seek out as many people as you can, you know, to really try to get a full picture of things. But even then, I mean, when rap was in its infancy and like Dart was saying, there were only a few publications that were talking about it or covering it. If you let them tell it, it's only a few people saying, oh, this is whack, whatever. That could have been the end of it. But I think the culture was different back then. And the streets had more of a say, that word of mouth. It's like, no, we're playing this. We're listening to this. We like this. A whole generation of rappers and kids and just, yeah. So.
And it takes years for those people who are from that to make their way into these positions, to be able to speak on it and say, no, this is good. You didn't get it because you were never a part of this to begin with.
Right. You know, you weren't out there with us rapping. You weren't at the parties.
Yes, but think about how many years it takes. And it's still, you know, I would say we have more black journalists than ever right now in history. But it's still, I feel, a predominantly white field, music journalism. Now, I live in a bit of a bubble. I live in a bit of a bubble because, you know, I can curate my experience online and choose who I feel, you know, I trust and the people who I think are like in it for the right reasons, right? So I can curate my experience and see, you know, and I've been on record, Mel, saying I respect this generation currently of rap journalists more than the previous generation who were like, let's face it, 75-80% white hipsters who moved to Williamsburg, Brooklyn
to snort coke and fuck on one another. Okay. Yeah, but that's for another night.
You know, and they don't respect hip hop. Let's just call it what it is, you know? They're there for the check. They're there for the clout. So it takes years and years and years for people to make it on voting committees and voting bodies and to be journalists and to, get their name out to the point where, a Dart Adams is getting calls for stuff he can't tell us about because he signed an NDA.
Right. Look, when you really respect the culture will respect you. And I don't say that to be, because look, a lot of things don't work the way they should in this world. So I'm not just saying that and like that's an end all be all thing. And you come back to me when you're 80, man, I listened to you and you told me that the culture was going to respect me and it shat on me. Look, what I'm saying though, in principle holds up. Like when you care, you find other people who care. It's the nature of things, not to go into just like, I don't know, sociology rankings, but yeah, it applies to all this stuff. So when you have a respect for this, a healthy respect, passion, you will attract like-minded individuals.
Well, Mel, before we move on, I think we should just hop back into Check the Technique. Let's see.
What he was saying?
Yeah, let's see what he was saying on Children's Story.
All right. Rick says, we got a little more creative with that one, with the sound effects. We tried to make it a visual picture, especially with the ending. The knock him out of the box, Rick, was like the climax, the big party part. We did the overlapping vocals because we wanted to keep the effect that was on Dougie Fresh's The Show. I saw that scene in real life, so I just put it on paper and added a little fiction to make it more interesting. I didn't see the people get shot, but I saw the people go to jail and ruin their whole life. There it is. He's pulling from his real story, from things he's experienced, and turning them into lovely songs. Flat 9. Okay.
Yep. Integral, essential, and formative storytelling raps. We're tapping the source here, but we got to move on.
Absolutely. So here we go.
Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform.